The PressBox High School Lacrosse Show is sponsored by Jerry's Tire, located in Baltimore City, just steps away from Little Italy and historic Jonestown. Jerry's not only sells all the major brands like Bridgestone, Michelin, and Continental, but is your go-to shop for everything from oil changes to factory schedule maintenance. All repairs are backed by a nationwide warranty. The team over at Jerry's has been serving the Baltimore area for over 62 years and are eager to earn your business. Give them a call at 410-685-4330 or visit them online at jerrystires.com to shop for tires and schedule an appointment. That's GERRYS tires.com. Now, here's Booker Corrigan.
Hey now! From the live Casino Hotel studio, Booker Corrigan alongside Glenn Clark. This is a big week in high school lacrosse. And we still have the same scenario, Glenn. 7 teams. When the music stops, 6 of them will make the playoffs, and 1 will not. And all 7 of them pass the eye test.
So tell me who it is. Just tell me who it is.
I'll give me 4 games.
Okay. All right. Need a little more time.
We are at the halfway pole. A lot of teams still have a bye week, but most of them have already had their bye week, so it's a great time to be a part of MIAA lacrosse. The public school leagues do an unbelievable job. I know we had a Delaney big win over Centennial in a little tournament that was held the other day, so congratulations to my man Eddie Janik and
the
Delaney.
Lions, yeah.
Hoorah, Delaney. And back in the MIAA, Calvert Hall is still the class of the league. You want to talk about the eye test, they pass it. They pass it in all ways. They move the ball well. They have size. They have speed. They have a tenacious ride. They have a fantastic defense. And their goaltender, Jackson Marshall, with the exception of one erroneous play, he has been spectacular all year long. I mean, you're not going to save it's not ice hockey. You're not Dominic Hasek.
Right.
But he had one against Hill Academy, which is a game they ended up losing in overtime.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But let's be honest. He has carried them when he has needed to, and they still have an outside chance at winning, quote unquote, the whole thing of national champions, which Inside Lacrosse does a nice job of doing that. You look at Calvert Hall and you see a lot of kids who played on that Under Armour All-American underclass team, and you see even more kids who played in that Under Armour underclass callback game, which you want to look at college coaches, a who's who of college coaches. They are goal line to goal line, if not past, and then they're up in the bleachers and they're on the far side. It's an honor to be selected for that callback game for the Under Armour underclass tryout. Go to underarmourlacrosse.com and find out how you can do it. After you get your tires from Jerry's. Have you gotten your tires yet?
Not yet, but it's on the. I'm taking a little vacation in a couple weeks, and I think while I'm on vacation, my car will be at Jerry's. Getting new tires, timing that out the right way.
I like your style there. Where are you headed?
I'm headed to New Orleans. Going down to New Orleans with my wife. It's our 5th anniversary.
Oh, right on.
And so we're going to go down and...
Do you need a ride to the airport, or you need somebody to watch the kids?
I hope. I hope that we've taken care of those things, but...
Hey, when's the vacation?
You know what? It's actually the week after Selection Sunday in college lacrosse. Yeah. Okay. So I will be gone missing for a week. But you'll be in the ever-capable hands of Kyle Ottenheimer that week, and he'll pretend to know just as much as I do when it comes...
And pretend he shall.
Yes.
Now, this week coming up in the MIAA...
By the way, we do love Jerry's Tire. I want to give them a shout out.
Yes, we do.
And they make this show happen, so appreciate that. Jerry's Tire, GERRYS tires.com is how you find out more, and they're big supporters of local high school lacrosse.
And they're right at the bottom of 83.
Yeah.
Couldn't be more convenient.
They want to earn your business.
They do, and they want to keep you as a customer.
Yep.
Which is a great quality to have in a business.
Okay, so Calvert...
one and done.
Oh, no doubt. Calvert Hall Pounds, Severn, right, last week? That's who they played?
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
The trick is, with Calvert Hall, the trick is this. You have to almost, and this is going to be contrary, but if you're St. Mary's, St. Paul's, Gilman, and you're playing them, and I have their schedule right in front of me, like Calvert Hall plays Gilman this coming Friday. If you're Gilman, going down 5-0 is not the worst thing that's ever happened to you, and I know that's contrary to what you want to do. You want to go up 5-0.
It doesn't seem right, yeah.
If you go up 5-0, I think Calvert Hall's going to pound you. But if they're up 5-0, you can lose their attention. All of a sudden they get a penalty or two. You make it 5-3, and all of a sudden everybody on your sidelines believing, and everybody on their sidelines like, we're just a bunch of high school kids. It's all right. Let's do this. And then it becomes 5-4, 6-5U, boom, 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 and you're walking out of there with a W. I don't know that that'll ever happen. But that's, if I were going to try and craft a scenario where someone's able to beat Calvert Hall,
right,
it would take something weird like that. I don't know that. And here's another example. 2013, Boys Latin's the best team in the country. They're playing the championship game against Loyola, and BL goes up 6-0 in the championship game.
That would seem to be desirable
For the best team in the country.
Right.
Loyola won the game.
How the hell did that happen?
That's lacrosse. Lacrosse has that momentum. Lacrosse has that attention span thing where all of a sudden they're up 6-0. They got the T-shirts on.
Right, correct. Yeah.
So it's very hard to be the best team and then have a big lead and stay driving. That's how they can, lose their attention against the team. One of the hardest things to do in high school sports is get kids excited to play a game that they know they're going to win.
So I asked you a question a week ago, Booker. I said, do we know who the biggest threat is to Calvert Hall yet? There's a bunch of teams mixed up right after
St.
Calvert
Mary's,
Hall.
St. Paul's right now are my two. Just saw St. Paul's. They have some kids who are absolutely fabulous. It'll be interesting to see how some of their speed, because I think St. Paul's may be a little bit faster, in a couple spots, and that's saying something because Calvert Hall is as good as I've seen in a long time.
Sure.
St. Paul's can do that. St. Mary's has the grit to find a way to beat them. But again, these are all 85% chance Calvert Hall wins the game. But that's 85. That's not 100.
Right.
And you ask Brian Kelly, the head coach for Calvert Hall, I think he would say it's 70%. Coaches always go in there a little worried. So it's very confounding to think that they could lose a game, but it's also every team that goes in there wants to say, hey, we were the ones who beat Calvert Hall. And Hill Academy did it in mid-March. I spun by that game for a little while before I had to go pick up somebody. But it was a great game. Calvert Hall's very good. And their goaltender, they had Liam Darrell last year, great goalie. Jackson Marshall has stepped into the starting role, and it's not what the league wanted.
Right.
He's good enough to shut him down.
That's huge.
Some other action this coming week. Other big games. St. Mary's, McDonogh on Friday. If I had a magic wand, we'd be broadcasting that game.
Okay, wait a second. Let me take a step back. You were talking about there being 6 spots.
17
teams. McDonogh trying to make sure they get one of those 6 spots.
If they lose to St. Mary's, they're out. So they're playing play-in games. Now, they do have they just finished off a bit of their lighter part of the schedule. They played Spalding. They played John Carroll. So they're trying to, make sure they get into the playoffs they got to beat St. Mary's.
But they're hoping to build off.
They have to beat Gilman. They have to beat St. Mary's. And then they have Severn. They'll take care of Severn's my 8th team, but they're even off of the side of the 8th.
So you brought up something where you said McDonogh, despite that record, you still believe they were a team that was capable of competing the last couple of weeks.
Yep, without question.
Stand by that?
Yeah, and it's a great question, great follow-up by you to think that does that much change? And I believe in some of the players. Obviously, Andy Hillgardner and his coaching staff are fantastic at McDonogh. But I believe in a lot of their players. They haven't risen to the occasion. They've gone up against a really hot goaltender. They've had every kooky way to lose a game happen, and now they're in a tough spot.
Right.
So they're
backs against the wall.
They're the team that could play for the title, and they may not make the playoffs.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
That's the nature of the beast right now. But I do see it as a 7-horse race.
When is that game?
Which Friday is St. Mary's McDonogh.
Okay.
And McDonogh has a bye tomorrow. Then there's St. Mary's. Then the next Tuesday, they are Mount St. Joe. So that should be a win, but Mount St. Joe just gave Loyola fits last week. Then they have Severn, which is another possible W, but Severn's going to want to make a statement. Although Severn will be coming off their game against St. Mary's, so that might be a nice little spot for McDonogh to be in. And because St. Mary's is very good.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how many goals they can score as they come down the stretch here, because St. Mary's has, obviously John Carroll tomorrow, then they have Severn, then they have, some games where they actually could put some numbers up against some different teams. And McDonogh not being one of them. I think their defense is great. I think their goaltender, Evan Long, is fantastic. McDonogh will be interesting. Gilman, I haven't talked about them yet. Brooks Matthews, last year, watched them play last week against St. Paul's, and they were every bit as good as St. Paul's. At one point, it's a one-goal game with 4 minutes to go, and Gilman has the ball. They're down 1. Kid dives towards the crease. I would say the referee made the right call, but it was unfortunate because the ball goes in, so technically now the game's tied, except they call it dive. It's a penalty on him. Goal comes off the board. It goes back to 10-9. St. Paul scores on the man up, make it 11-9, and that was a little bit of a backbreaker.
That's a huge momentum swing, no doubt.
But Gilman has some studs, some talent, some gifted guys. It'll be interesting to see how they wrap up the season. Their last game of the year on May 7th is against McDonogh. That could be
a play-in type of.
It could be. I think BL is going to find themselves in a play-in game against St. Paul's. St. Paul's is in. St. Paul, St. Mary's, and Calvert Hall are locked in. But McDonogh, Gilman, BL, and Loyola are still scrapping. And I think Loyola, with their win over McDonogh early in the year, Kevin Ellington, the goaltender for Loyola, played magnificent lacrosse and stood on his head, and he was one of the players of the game. So Loyola, I think, is almost locked in.
Okay.
But there's still 4 games left.
Right, yeah, a lot of time. Okay, so a couple other games. That
4 or 5.
Give me some other games we should pay attention to this week.
Calvert Hall Gilman is a huge one. That is at Gilman. That's the other thing, is if you're going to knock off Calvert Hall, it's probably going to be at your place.
Sure.
It's probably going to be at your place. It's probably not going to be a televised game because those Calvert Hall guys know
when the lights are on.
Right. They know what a TV camera looks like, and they do well in front of them. And then Tuesday, the big one tomorrow, is Loyola at Gilman. That'll be as good a high school lacrosse game.
So Gilman's got both Loyola and Calvert Hall at home this week.
Yes.
It's a pretty good back-to-back, man. That's a pretty good back-to-back.
When you look at that York Road corridor, that Charles Street corridor, you got Gilman, BL, Loyola, and St. Paul's, and you shoot out a little bit and you hit Calvert Hall. That's 5 of the best high school lacrosse teams in the country.
No question.
Within,
all right,
you can throw a hula hoop around them.
So that's this week.
Yep.
No game of the week this week.
No game of the week. Next game of the week is Tuesday, April 30th. And we're contemplating, there's 2 scenarios that we might have to look at on April 30th, Severn St. Mary's, and we also have a huge one of St. Paul's at Calvert Hall.
Okay. All right. Brian wanted to get a shout-out in for Broadneck.
Love Broadneck.
Both Spalding and Severn this week. 2 nice wins, even if Severn's down this season.
They are a little bit down. That's fine. And Broadneck plays a good. James Dunn's a kid I coached out of there probably 4 or 5 years ago, which is painful to say, but great kid. And Clay White's been coaching there forever and doing a real nice job. So, yeah, shout out Broadneck.
Shout out to Broadneck.
Yeah, I gave a little shout out to Delaney, Towson High, my man Leighton Betchel, who's going. So I have this midfielder who I coached in the summer, Leighton Betchel, who can bring it.
Okay.
You know what he's going to go do in college?
He's gonna play football.
He's a punter and place kicker. Yep. How great is that?
Where's he going?
He's going to West Virginia.
Doesn't seem like a bad place to be.
No.
Doesn't seem
Mountain
like that's
Mama.
the worst. Absolutely, right?
Take me home.
What else needs to be on our radar right now, Bill?
UnderArmourLacrosse.com. If you want to be a part of that, make sure you get to it. Obviously, the Baltimore 10 Miler is coming up. The IMLCA National Cup this year, it's up in Jersey. Make sure you put it on your radar for this summer or even next summer. It is college coaches running stations, college coaches running sessions, college coaches involved from start to finish. It's the IMLCA National Cup. And then, of course, the game of the week. Check out the Valley Inn. Make sure you're there. It is the place to watch the game. It's the place to go after the game.
I mean, it's as simple as that. Plus, it's the Valley Inn. Come on.
Just take an Uber.
Why wouldn't you want to be it? Right.
Yeah.
Correct. Be safe.
They have the new Resi service where RESY. And their hostesses are fantastic.
I like that. All right, do you have a lesson for us this week?
The lesson was the eye test.
Okay.
And how important it is to have those pieces in place. And when I say the eye test, I mean, how are you sliding? Where are you sliding from? Against what? Where do you not slide? Army against Loyola, last weekend, Army wasn't doing a lot of sliding. So a lot of teams have changed that a little bit. So the eye test, I also look at how quickly you move the ball on man up. So, yes, that's the lesson is the eye test and how you pass it.
Like it.
Offensively and defensively in the clearing game and the riding game. What are you doing when people are just seeing you for the first time? How hard do you work and how well do you work together?
By the way, Brian, who's not Brian Powell, a different Brian, says, thank you for the shout-out for Delaney. Did you know they've now won 10 of their last 11?
I actually was just going to tell you, Delaney has won 10 of their last 11 games.
Amazing. That is amazing, Booker Corrigan. All right, at Booker Corrigan on Twitter?
Yeah, hit me up, and I'll tweet you back.
Very good. Give him a follow there. Thanks again to Jerry's Tire. Again, Jerry's Tires.
I love the live casino hotel studio.
I do as well. GERRYS, jerrystires.com to find out more. All right, Book, take us home.
For Glenn Clark, I am Booker Corrigan reminding you, you only get one shot at today.